South Carolina has been playing really well. Who's on their schedule? Wofford. So I don't care that you won. Play somebody.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams. And on today's Throwdown Thursday edition, week 13 of the college football season, and bring out your handkerchiefs because there's going to be a lot of crying. Segment 1, we talk about the Power 4 schools. Segment 2, we talk about Group of 5. And Segment 3, we talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. So let's jump into the SEC. Good wins by Texas, Oklahoma, Florida. Reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated. Auburn, Missouri, and LSU. Lackluster performances by Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Arkansas because they all played bum schools. So whenever somebody starts talking about who you played, check out week 13 of the SEC. And then bad losses by Alabama. Please rent, don't own. Ole Miss and Texas A&M. After all that noise, Georgia plays the winner of Texas A&M and Texas. So with that, our favorite team leader is here, Mike King. Mike, any thoughts on the SEC this week and all the belly aching, as Coach Galata would say?
I mean, there's a lot of a lot of meh, a lot of like 3 loss. They're going to be complaining. How come the Big Ten's got this and this conference has it? You have your chances. A lot of teams blew it. Alabama, how many chances are they going to get this year? Do they deserve another chance? Because they didn't just lose. They lost by 21 to an unranked Oklahoma team. This isn't Oklahoma when they were good. This is Oklahoma that's and they got killed.
J.C. Watt's not walking through that door.
No. Texas A&M, they have a chance. Lose to Auburn. This isn't Cam Newton's not there. This is a bad team.
It's a bad team. It's a bad team.
So I don't feel bad for any of them. South Carolina has been playing really well. Who's on their schedule? Wofford. So I don't care that you won. Play somebody. There's 12 teams to make the playoffs. You got to change how you schedule. You want to prove that you deserve it. Play somebody. So I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for anybody.
And Mike, I hate when they say it's better not to win so you can backdoor in. That means you're not going to win the whole thing. You just want to get in the tournament. You don't want to win the tournament. So anybody talking about a side door, I don't like you anyway. So with that, we're going to go to the Big Ten. Good wins by Ohio State. There's levels to these things, and we'll talk about that shortly. Michigan State, go ahead, try to get that bowl eligibility. Illinois, play to the whistle. Good job, Illinois. Iowa, Michigan, Nebraska, and USC. Lackluster performance by Penn State. I get sucked in every year, and this is when they disappoint me. Okay. Bad losses by Rutgers, play to the whistle, play to the end of the game. Wisconsin. Now, the money looks good, but I'm sure you miss Cincinnati and Indiana. So there's 2 things going on with Indiana. You can be super proud and happy you overachieved, which you have. You have overplayed your hand, and you've done well. But on the flip side, if you ranked in the top 10, I'm going to treat you like you in the top 10. And there's levels to these things. And Ohio State got levels to their players, and you got a bunch of guys who are overperforming, and that is because you're a good coach. But don't start crying to me about how you deserve to still be in the playoffs when the first time you had some heat and you got cooked. Mike, any thoughts on the Big Ten?
So the Big Ten's going to get Oregon. They're going to get Ohio State. Unfortunately, they're going to get Penn State because Penn State's just such a freaking fraud. They win by 1 against the Minnesota team that lost to Rutgers, right? Last week. Rutgers, they beat Maryland. They're not good. They've got a coach who tries to ice kicker on a 60-yard field goal into the wind, and they lose on a pass. Like that gets you fired. If I'm the AD, I'm running to the field to fire you on TV. Like, that's just so freaking bad. But Penn State's a fraud. They're going to get in. Indiana's the one where, like, I'll feel bad. I'm not going to feel bad for them that they're not going to get in the playoffs because I don't think they're going to get in the playoffs. But the Big Ten doesn't deserve four schools. Three is a good number for the Big Ten to get in. Indiana's the clear team to not get in because of this loss to Ohio State. Because Penn State lost close or closer. Penn State was in it. Ohio State's not. Indiana's not. So I'm not going to feel bad for them. But if you put some three-loss SEC team that lost every big game they had too, that's where I'm going to be like, no, I'd rather see Indiana get a chance than a three-loss SEC team. Two-loss SEC, okay. Three-loss, I'd say I'd rather see Indiana get another chance against maybe not the best team in the country.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the mess they called the Big 12. Good wins by Arizona State, but some really horrible clock management. Okay. Whoever booked that, no, don't do that. Kansas, Iowa State, TCU, Texas Tech, West Virginia, Baylor, and K State. No lackluster performances, but bad losses by BYU, Colorado, and UCF. Now, let's talk Colorado. The entire season, I had Colorado under 5.5, and two conversations can take place, as we often say on this show. Colorado has overperformed to go from 1 win to 4 wins to 8 wins, regardless of what happens the rest of the season. You deserve accolades. Now, we're going to have the second conversation. If you got an opportunity to get to the college football playoffs, and all you've got to do is win games, and you wet the bed, now I can talk about you, okay? Because you got guys, Shador's built for this kind of heat. Travis Hunter's built for this kind of heat. That right tackle who's looking at the newspaper saying, oh my God, my team's in the paper, he's not built for that. That cornerback on the other side of Travis Hunter, he ain't built for that. So when you got all of these people patting you on the back and you ain't built for that, you get that performance against Kansas, who was just happy to be there, and their coach is a little pain in the butt, and that's in a good way because he's been screwing stuff up for people for years, and he's happy being at Kansas, and those guys ran right down your throat. They ran against you, which means you ain't hard-boiled, okay? So with that, Arizona State, you got a chance because you're more likely than not going to be in the championship. And our good friend Kevin Monroe, I was like the uncle that you really don't want to show up, but he's funny anyway. They have the inside track now to make it to the Big 12 championship game. Mike, what are you thinking about the Big 12?
My thoughts are on Colorado because Sanders is a top quarterback draft pick, and my team needs quarterback. And Deion's got the right system, just the wrong sport. Give me three superstars in basketball, I can win a championship. But in football, I could be a surprise 8-win team that can't do it because again, you got one great wide receiver. If you don't have two, you can stop one. You got one great corner. I'm just gonna attack the other guy. It's not hard. No offensive line could slow down a quarterback. My bigger thing was Sanders pushing the ref. That's the thing I don't like. I can deal with the rest of it, and still on board to draft Shador, but just don't push the ref.
Don't do that.
I hate refs more than anybody. hate them all, but you can't push a ref.
Except Robert, we don't hate Robert.
Oh, that's true. Robert's fine.
Okay, all right. ACC, good wins by SMU. I picked one good winner this year. Miami, Georgia Tech, Syracuse. Be careful. BC, Cal, Louisville, and Duke. Really good season from Duke. 8 wins. Good job. I think Manny Diaz is at Duke now. So good job. Yeah. Lackluster performance by Clemson and Florida State. Bad losses by UNC. Mac Brown, you announce you come back, and then you give us that performance. That's why nobody wants you back. You can't announce back and then get waxed. Okay. And then Pitt. Man, what happened to Pitt? Okay. So we got a situation that SMU is in the championship game. Now, if Miami beats Syracuse, they're in. And if Miami loses, Clemson's in. But Dabo's talking again about how it's the Big Ten SEC Invitational. And they play South Carolina on Saturday. And in segment 3, I'll talk more about that. But let's just say I'm rooting for South Carolina to not just beat Clemson, but beat Clemson pretty dadgum badly because I'm really just not digging that. Mike, any thoughts on the ACC?
I mean, Dabo's right. It's the Big Ten SEC Invitational, and it should be because I'm looking at the ACC, and Virginia's a middle program in the ACC. And Maryland beat them in Virginia this year. Maryland stinks. Maryland's a bottom Big Ten program, and they're better than an average ACC program. So yes, the ACC is what it is. I mean, you are what the record says you are.
Record says you are.
Like, they stink. I'm rooting for SMU. I work with a guy who played at SMU back when SMU was SMU. So I'm rooting for SMU. I like with 12 teams. I like seeing the schools you don't normally see. Like I don't need to see Clemson kind of get in. I'd rather see SMU. I wouldn't mind seeing Miami because I'm also a Stars guy. I want to see Ward get his chance to play on the stage, right? So SMU, Miami's, but I'm one of those two. I'm hoping for Clemson. I've seen it. They're also not. They're not like this isn't like the Trevor Lawrence Clemson teams. They're okay. They're pretty good. Should they be in the top 12? They'd probably give these teams more of a run, but are they going to win the championship? No. So if none of these teams are winning a championship, which none of these teams are doing, I'd rather see SMU or Miami.
All right. And Notre Dame, shout out to Jake. Great job last week on the show. Great picks from Yankee Stadium. You beat Army pretty bad. And if you win next week against USC, you're in. And let me again say, folks, I don't care about the noise. It's not their fault that the good teams are bad this year. That's called Michigan last year. Hey, don't blame me because you didn't recruit well. So go Notre Dame, beat USC, get into the playoffs without being in a conference, and stay independent and keep all your money for yourself. Go Irish. BCA is real to me. Mike, any thoughts on Notre Dame?
I mean, we were saying this after they lost that game early on. We looked at the schedule and said, yeah, they're probably getting in if they win these games, and they're all winnable. So they should get in.
So with that, fans, in segment 2, we're going to go hurt the feelings of the group of 5 folks because you're only getting one in. And try not to choke it, Boise. We'll be right back on the iCoaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Safe Project, with a question for you. Are you passionate about supporting student athletes? If so, then become an official member of the CKA Safe Project and make a difference today. With your membership, you'll be able to help us provide essential academic and athletic support to underserved communities nationwide. Join us in empowering student athletes to achieve their full potential, both on and off the field. Together, we can build a brighter future through education and sports. Visit ckasafeproject.org and choose your membership level now. $25 is a bronze level membership, $50 is a silver level membership, and $100 is a gold level membership. Be a part of the change. Become a member of the CKA Safe Project today. Welcome back to the iCoaches Podcast in segment 2, group of 5. All right, the American, Mike. Good wins by UTSA, ECU, you're bowl eligible, and USF, you're bowl eligible, but it's too late now. Bad loss by Army. Okay. Army, I'm not mad that you lost. You're not going to win all the time. But you really look like Army was supposed to look. And there's levels of these things, and we keep talking about that. So you've got Tulane and Army in the American Championship. Tulane, you've got an outside shot, but you got a tough game against Memphis. Let's see where you're ranked, and then you can root against Boise State because you got a chance to sneak in. Mike, any thoughts on the American this week?
Army had their chance. They blew it. Yeah, again, be nice to see some of these teams get a shot, but in the end, if your one loss is a bad loss, I don't feel bad for you. I'd rather see them than the 3-loss. Again, same as I'll put them in the Indiana category. I'd rather see them than the 3-loss SEC team. But if you don't get in, I don't feel bad for you. You had your shot.
Yes. All right. So Mountain West Pac-2. Good wins by Boise State. but you are not looking good. So at least they can't lower you. Well, they can lower you, but you get the idea. UNLV 9-2. Go Rebels. Them into the championship game. Just despite the dude whose name I forget every week, Mike. I forget his name every week. At Fresno State, good win, and that leads to the bad loss by Colorado State. Colorado State had a chance, and they blew it because they lost to Fresno State. So if Boise State wins out, they're in the college football playoffs. The Colorado State Rams and the Rebels will enter Week 14 with identical 5-1 marks. Colorado plays Utah State on Friday. UNLV plays Nevada on Saturday. But again, I think UNLV is going to get in because, Mike, the tiebreaker is broken by the CFP rankings or some type of computer, and UNLV is ranked 25 in the AP poll, which means they might sneak in, and Colorado State just lost. Any thoughts on the Mountain West Pac-2?
I mean, that Boise State, that's a bad win. That is a being tied in the fourth against a
Wyoming.
2-8 at the time Wyoming team. Ooh. You got the superstar, you got the guy. So I hope they get you want to see the superstars in the playoff. It makes Boise State versus Oregon or whatever it would be more interesting. But
and
boy,
they got to go to the blue turf as of now because they're going to be higher ranked than the Big 12 person. So they're going to get the fourth seed, and the Big 12 team, will get the fifth seed or something like that.
So you want to see the superstar Heisman running back in the playoff, but you can't beat Wyoming by 4. You just can't.
Okay. Conference USA, good wins by Jacksonville State. Rich Rod still doing it. And Liberty. Bad losses by Sam Houston State, Western Kentucky. Jacksonville State is in the Conference USA Championship. And there's a 3-way tie between Sam Houston State, Liberty, and Western Kentucky. They're all playing for bowls anyway, so good luck, Conference USA. Mike, do you care that Rich Rod's in there? Or whatever.
I haven't cared about Rich Rod for like a decade.
Okay. All right. Sunbelt Conference, good win by Louisiana. App State, Arkansas State, University of South Alabama, Georgia Southern, Marshall. Bad losses by JMU, Texas State. Marshall versus Louisiana looks to be the Sun Belt Championship, but they're all playing for bowls. And I don't think I'll be betting on bowl games, but we will do a bowl game show as we do every year. But man, that portal is going to be hot, Mike. So any thoughts on the Sun Belt?
I just love when Marshall's doing well.
Marshall got a DeMatha guy coming. Marshall's got the DeMatha guy coming next year. The DeMatha starting quarterback's going to Marshall.
Okay. Pay attention to him.
And good luck to DeMatha as they play for the WCAC championship. Again, the game is being played today, so we'll miss all of that. But anyway, all right, a little action. Miami of Ohio, good win. Buffalo, Ohio, Bowling Green, bad loss by Toledo. No, we got Miami of Ohio, and Bowling Green. 3 teams playing for 2 spots in the championship, and it's all bowls. And I have not done well with my Tuesday action betting, so good luck to all of you. You're killing me, Western Michigan. Mike, any thoughts on action?
Well, those 3 teams you mentioned, they're all Ohio's on a 4-game win streak, Bowling Green 5-game, Miami of Ohio 6-game win streak. So 3 teams playing really good football at the end of the year. Thinks that one of them won't get that shot.
You shouldn't have lost early this year. That's how I feel about it. And to close out, Mike, I want your union hat on, your investigative hat on as we talk about HBCUs. So good win by Tennessee State, North Carolina Central, South Carolina State, Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Jackson State, and FAMU. But Mike, we've got a problem with Jackson State. So it has been reported by news media organizations that Jackson State is under investigation based on some stolen practice film from University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. So there was a former player who still had access to University of Arkansas Pine Bluff film, and apparently it has been reported that Jackson State took a look at it, some of their players, and if that is deemed to be true, Mike, how would you adjudicate that as a social studies teacher?
Well, looking at history, the NFL would just hide all evidence of it and sweep it under the rug, and nothing would happen. Um,
Okay.
but so from a history perspective, that's what I do. But I mean, obviously, you want to eliminate cheating as best you can. Um, so uh, if that's going on, what do you ban bowl bans, things like that, scholarship issues. But
They have no money anyway.
but
Okay.
like yeah,
All right, I got another one for you, Mike. We got bad losses by Hampton. You had mentioned in segment one about an AD running down and doing something. Hampton was up 28-7 at the half, lost 41-34, gave up 24 points in the fourth quarter. Are we running down the field? Now, again, we're mad at Hampton because they chose to join just the conference we had. Damon Pickram on last week, Hampton alum, said, I'm not getting hyped about Campbell. So anyway, that's what we're rolling with Hampton. Special notes, Tennessee State upset number 11, Southeast Missouri State to win a share of the Big South OVC championship. So, hey, let's put them in the playoffs. Eddie George, great job. South Carolina State won the MEAC. So they will play the winner of Jackson State and Southern in the SWAC for the Celebration Bowl. And again, we're rooting for Tennessee State to get into the FCS playoffs. So with that, in segment 3, we are going to talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. And we're going to share the real college football playoff because we're honest and the national media isn't. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project and author of Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. This book is your key to unlocking the secrets of being a successful student athlete. Drawing from my 30-year career as a teacher and coach, this instructional guide offers a unique perspective on achieving success in both academics and athletics. With over 15 personal stories and insightful antidotes, Finding the Balance is a must-read for student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators. Visit www.ckasaveproject.org to get your copy and start finding the balance today. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 3. Let's get to our rankings. All right. So, Mike, I got us conference champion. Texas from the SEC, Oregon from the Big Ten, SMU from the ACC, Arizona State from the Big 12, and Boise State from the Mountain West. So there's only 12 teams in, and that's 5. So here are the next 7 as I see it. Ohio State is 6 from the Big Ten. Georgia is 7 from the SEC. I still got Tennessee hanging around this week. They'll be out by the time next week comes through because you'll have your SEC champion plus whoever's left. I got Penn State from the Big Ten because, I think Big Ten's going to get 3. I got Miami from the ACC because I think the ACC will get 2. I have Iowa State in, but they're not going to get in because the Big 12 is only going to get 1, and somebody's going to drop. And then I got Notre Dame just sitting there collecting checks. And then on the outside looking in, Clemson from the ACC. But here's the deal. If Clemson makes the ACC championship, they're still going to have that loss I am anticipating to South Carolina. So they're going to get lower in the rankings, and then they'll lose in the ACC, and then they'll be done. That's kind of how I look at it, especially if South Carolina beats them like Georgia beat them. Texas A&M's on the outside looking in. Y'all blew it. There's no other way around it. Okay. South Carolina is sneaky because they're going to be ranked, and then they're going to get another good win. Yeah, I'm speaking it like that against Clemson. So they might just sneak in. They might be high enough to do something if a bunch of folks lose. Indiana, great story, wonderful. Enjoy and have a nice bowl and see how many people are in the portal because that's how life works. And Tulane will probably be the American representative because I think they can handle Army's rushing attack style. But they've got a game against Memphis, and Memphis might beat them. At least I hope they do. Mike, any thoughts on my ratings? Am I too hard, or did I get it right?
I think it's pretty fair. I'm just looking at South Carolina, and admittedly, I'm a hater because they come to this area to recruit. Um, they beat Old Dominion, they beat Kentucky, they lost to LSU, they beat Akron. So far, 4 games and nothing impressive. They lost to Ole Miss, they lost to Alabama, so they had chances and lost. They beat an unranked Oklahoma team. Texas A&M is a good win. They beat Vanderbilt. Never care if you beat Vanderbilt. They beat. I don't care what they're doing. They beat Missouri. They beat Wofford. What on that? They beat Texas A&M. So one thing, and then they have 4 or 5 chances that they blew, including losing to an Alabama team we find out is not that good. Um, I just look at them as like a slightly better schedule. Well, better schedule than Indiana, but they lost all the games. They had 4 chances. Indiana had one. They won 1 game. They had 4 chances.
All right.
Eh,
Okay. Season long bets. SEC, I didn't pick very well. Georgia, Missouri, nothing. Big Ten, split. I had Maryland because I get talked into it every year. And Oregon's already won 11, so I went to the pay window. Big 12, I was 0 for 2, Colorado and Utah. ACC in 1 and 2, I had NC State, never again. And SMU, I did pick them, so I won that. All right. Independence, I did well with both independents. Notre Dame over 10.5. They're at 10 wins. They beat South USC. Then we're at the pay window, and UMass under 4 wins. Yeah, we're good. The American, Memphis still has a shot. They've got 9 wins, 1 game against Tulane. If they can dig it up, I win. So go Tigers. USF let me down, and UAB stinks, and that's why I picked them. All right. So Mountain West, they're running that boy into the ground. Boise State did get their 10th win, though, so I went to the pay window, but I lost with New Mexico. And Conference USA, FIU can get me a push, but that's about all I can do because Liberty stunk and Texas State stunk. And in the MAC, Toledo and Western Michigan 0-4-2. So my weekly bets. Last week I was 4-3. This week I'm 3-4. My showcase game, Mike, I'm a little extra salty. I had Texas A&M minus 2.5. They had opportunity after opportunity to close that out, and they didn't. So you deserve it. My 2 play, I lost that one too. I had UNC minus 2.5, and I had Duke plus 3.5. Duke took care of business. Mac, you went to Boston College and couldn't get the job, couldn't close out at Chestnut Hill. It's not good. My 3 play finally hit though, Mike. It's the first 3 play spread I've hit all year. I'm 1-12. SMU minus 10.5, Notre Dame minus 14.5, and Ohio State minus 10.5. And all day in the chat, I kept talking about leveling up. SMU's really they really want this thing.
mhm.
And Notre Dame really wants this thing, and Ryan Day really needs this thing. So I bet on people who needed to win, which takes me to why I'm disappointed that my 4 play money line loss. SMU, Ohio State, Ole Miss couldn't close the door, and Penn State had me sweating all day, so I didn't get that. All right, over. Picked the wrong game. I thought USC and UCLA, no defense would be played. Let's sling and hash. Nope. But I did win the under UCF versus West Virginia, under 62.5. They usually don't play D in the Big 12, but that guy in West Virginia is playing for his job. So I thought the defense would tighten up a little bit. And my upset of the week was Kansas over Colorado. No hate. 2 things can be true. But man, Kansas got a strong running attack, and I still question the heart of that defensive line on Colorado, and I guess right. Mike, did you do anything strictly for entertainment purposes only this week?
No, I was clean. I'm not taking a break.
I got a show to do. All right, week 14 games of note. Memphis versus Tulane on Thursday. Oregon State versus Boise State on Friday. Georgia Tech, Georgia. Notre Dame, USC. You're traveling to USC. Don't blow that thing, guys. Don't do it. Just lock in. Houston versus BYU, Arizona State, Arizona. Yes, Arizona could beat Arizona State and mess up everything. Kansas State versus Iowa State. Yeah, Kansas State could beat Iowa State. Michigan versus Ohio State. I don't think this is the year that Michigan wins again. I think Ryan Day can't lose that game. Okay. Tennessee Vandy, South Carolina, Clemson, I am rooting. And South Carolina has to go to Clemson. So if you lose that home game to a middle of the road SEC team, I really don't want to hear from you. Maryland against Penn State. It's not a rivalry if only one team's winning. Miami is traveling to Syracuse, Mike, and Miami has not played well all year. They have just won games. Texas A&M is the game of the week, but not really. And they said Quentin Ewers is hurt, and Texas says so.
Great, that was better.
And then, of course, Nevada and UNLV. Anything catch your eye for next weekend, as I believe that's the last weekend of the regular season?
So Michigan, Ohio State, because Michigan, depending on how it goes, will have to.
They play well against whoever Northwestern.
Well, they're coming off, getting that quarterback for $10 million. If maybe the D-line plays poorly, they'll spend $8 million on that. Who knows what Michigan will do based on this game. The South Carolina Clemson one for me, just because Dabo can stop crying. You got a chance right now. You want to whine about the SEC Big Ten Invitational? Okay, beat an average SEC team. If not, shut up. The end. You beat them, great. You don't, shut up. Go away.
Yes. All right. So this will air on Thanksgiving Day, and Thanksgiving is well documented for those who know me as my favorite holiday. I will be flying to San Diego to spend time with my favorite aunt and my grandmother, who has blessed us for over 100 years. So that's going to be cool. But I want to send a message for Giving Tuesday. As we close this week, I want to invite you to join us this Giving Tuesday, which is a day dedicated to doing good and creating change. At the CKA Save Project, we're all about empowering student athletes to find balance between academics and athletics. Many student athletes face real challenges in terms of rising college entrance requirements, limited academic support, and juggling their on and off field and on and off court issues in terms of their goals. That's where we come in as the CKA Save Project, and through our programs and resources, we help these young people succeed academically and athletically and personally through our holistic approach. But we can't do it without your support. Your donation ensures that we can continue to provide critical tools and services student athletes need to survive and thrive in this ever complex and changing athletic world. So this Giving Tuesday, let's make a difference together. Visit us on the web at www.cksaveproject.org and help us empower the next generation of student athletes. We thank you for your generosity. Let's do this. And on behalf of our favorite team leader, Mike King, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we'll see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.cksaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@cksaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.cksaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.